Got the student ID. We have my outline. My name is Nate Skidmore. Not all powerhouses are big. The powerhouse of cells, the tiny microscopic organisms that make up living things, are smaller than the basic human eye can see. As someone who's going to school to be a science teacher, I have a great deal of interest in science. Cells and their functions are the basis of biology and much of the medical field. Every living organism is made up of cells. Without cells, we wouldn't be alive. While there are some differences between cells and plants and animals, and even within those there are some differences in cells that do different things, they all function in similar ways. Without mitochondria, the cell could not function. Without cells, we die. The primary job of mitochondria is to produce large amounts of chemical energy. Together, we're going to go into a brief introduction of what goes on in a cell. From there, we're going to dive into the job of mitochondria and discuss how and why they are so important. Let's begin by learning the basic parts and functions that go on inside a cell. Each cell is a tiny living organism. Plant and animal cells have some differences in them. Even within like plant or animal cells, you got differences within that. Types of animal cells are like blood cells and skin cells. They're different. Just how small is a cell exactly? DiseasePictures.com tells us that a person is made up of 10 trillion cells, and this fundamental organ can only be seen under a microscope. To credit them one more time, that is DiseasePictures.com. There are many different parts of the cell. We're only going to consider a couple parts and discuss their interactions with mitochondria. Animal cells have a barrier around them called a cell membrane. The cell diagram you're seeing on your screen is that of an animal cell. Plant cells have a different barrier around them called a cell wall. All cells are filled with fluid called cytoplasm. The nucleus acts as the brain or command center of the cell. I just listed a couple different things within a cell, but as you can see on your screen, there are tons of different parts I didn't mention at all. You got the centrosome, the smooth and rough ER standing for endoplasmic reticulum, ribosomes, the Golgi body, vacuoles, the nucleolus and nuclear membrane. The nucleus has so much more going on with it than I mentioned. But most things in the cell get its energy from mitochondria, the powerhouse of the cell. So how exactly does mitochondria work? Well, mrc-mbu.cam.ac.uk defines mitochondria as the parts of the cell that turn sugars, fats, and proteins that we eat into forms of chemical energy that the body can use to carry on living. To credit them one more time, that is mrc-mbu.cam.ac.uk, their definition of mitochondria. Mitochondria, in essence, breaks down nutrients to produce power in a process called cellular respiration. Respiration being a term meaning breathing, so essentially mitochondria breathes. It acts almost like the lungs of the cell. The number of mitochondria in a cell is directly dependent on how much energy is needed within a cell. Number of mitochondria? Well, Wikipedia.org tells us that mitochondria is actually a plural form of the singular organism called mitochondrion. And you can see a singular labeled mitochondrion on your screen. Without mitochondria, a cell cannot live. Mitochondria produces about 90% of the chemical energy that cells use to survive. And without that, no energy means no life. Together we have learned the basics of the cell and become more informed about what mitochondria are and how they work. Together we have considered the basics of the cell and the differences between different types and species of cells. From there we began to look inside a cell and at a couple of different parts. We then focused in on the star of the cell, mitochondria. My hope is that we can all confidently know and agree that mitochondria are, in fact, the powerhouse of the cell. Thank you.